What is up, Niner gang? Hope everybody's having a great night. Hope you guys didn't miss me too much. I know I've been away for a little bit, but I kind of needed to. Sometimes when there's not a whole lot of content to go over, I'm not going to force it. I want to have exciting conversations and go back and forth. But especially if you guys kind of egg me on and really want me to come on, then I will. But sometimes if I feel like I can take some time for the family, I will do so. But just to start out with, I would really appreciate if everybody can start before we go any further, if everybody can stop, like and subscribe, please. And actually, Raphael 5629ers says it right here. So thank you. Shout out to you, Raphael. Thank you. Like and subscribe, everybody, please. That would be greatly, greatly appreciated, man. And man, there's a lot of people streaming right now. So I wanted to push it back further, but I kind of got to work that stuff out with the wife and stuff like that first. So since I already had it expected for 6 o'clock, I'll just do it now, man. And Raphael, great to have you here. We're having a call-in show tonight. So anybody who would like to call in and give their thoughts would be greatly appreciated. And I'm ready to have some fun with everything, man. Ready to talk some 49ers football. It's football week for the 49ers. We get to play this week. And yeah, man, I'm excited. We're going to face off against the Chargers. Home game for us. Great way to come out of the bye. Come out of the bye, you have a home game, and we can really set some fireworks off in this game, man, against the Chargers. If you guys didn't watch the game, the Chargers played the Falcons this week. Falcons beat the 49ers for whatever odd reason. They just out-executed the 49ers. But in the fashion that the Chargers did it in, I wasn't very impressed. I saw a few passes that got away from the Falcons where Kyle Pitts could have had probably 2 touchdowns, and the Falcons just didn't click on it. So I'm pretty confident in how the 49ers are going to do. I'm going to talk a little more about that later, about some of that stuff in practice, man. Al-Shaair, Colton McKivitz, and Elijah Mitchell are their practice windows have opened up. So those guys are expected to be coming back and stuff like that. It's great news, great news. Al-Shaair is great for this linebacking core, man. I love it. I love to have him back, man. When the 49ers have a linebacker like Al-Shaair, they play with a different swag, man. We saw it a lot when Greenlaw missed time. Al-Shaair stepped in, and man, he was outperforming even Fred Warner. So if you could have all 3 of those guys, Greenlaw, Al-Shaair, and Fred Warner, all on the field at the same time, man, great things should be happening for this defense. Not just in coverage, but just from a hitting standpoint, man. I love the way Al-Shaair cracks guys. It's awesome. I love the physicality. Raphael says, do the Niners get the LA sweep? Hey, man, I think so, man. Very much so. The Chargers are still a good team. They're a decent team. Like I said, the Falcons beat the 49ers, and everybody thought the 49ers were going to walk in and mollywop the Falcons. So we were all shocked when that wasn't the case, right? So this could be another trap game-like situation like that. But I feel very confident that the 49ers, they're rested up. We're getting pieces back. There's no excuse. We didn't have Christian McCaffrey, and he seems to have opened up a lot of things for the offense, man. It's just created like a domino effect for the entire offense, like Jimmy Garoppolo especially. That awesome check down option that Christian McCaffrey is for Garoppolo is just opening up a lot of great things for the offense, and it's just improving everything as a whole. So that's great to see the domino effect across the offense. We didn't have that against the Falcons. We didn't get Christian McCaffrey until the Chiefs game, right? And he had only been here for like 2 days. So he only had a couple days to learn a few plays, and he didn't play at all the second half of the 49ers Chiefs game. Plays more against the Rams, whoops their ass. Now that he's been here for almost 4 weeks, has a bye week. I'm expecting that he has a great game against the Chargers. And just the overall 49ers as a whole offense, a whole unit, a whole team, I'm expecting them to come up and show out, man, because they've had a whole week to prepare for this. Actually 2 weeks, I should say. I saw that some of the players were vacationing and stuff like that, doing a little bit of off script stuff away from the team, which is good. Good to see them get their minds away from football a little bit. But hopefully the coaching staff didn't take a big break. Hopefully they really put their minds to it, man, because I feel like a big part of why this offense hasn't been clicking. And even, when Emmanuel Moseley went down, the defense took a huge shot. And it's taken a while for DeMeco Ryans and the defense to kind of come back from losing Emmanuel Moseley. So I'm hoping with all this time that they've had a chance to look at everything. The offense is a lot of new coaching staff. Run game coordinator now is Chris Forrester, which is the O-line coach. So that's another thing, right? He's the new run game coordinator. He has two things on his plate as far as that. That used to be Mike McDaniels. He's in Miami now, of course, right? So, just getting acclimated with the whole staff and putting their heads together. We lost Trey Lance in week 2. So now that it's the Garoppolo offense again, these guys aren't as familiar with Garoppolo as the other regime was of all the other coaching staff that went to the Dolphins, basically, right? So yeah, Raphael, long answer. Yes, I do think the 49ers get the sweep in LA. That's a long ass answer, right? Hopefully we see Verrett playing this Sunday. I really hope so, man. He's been activated since a couple weeks ago. And so I feel confident that he can play. No word yet on him. Like I said, we've heard word that Alshire is back in practice. Colton McKivitz, Elijah Mitchell. Also, we heard about Armstead. Armstead is still a non-participant. So we heard that. And then, with Kinlaw, he's still on IR. He won't be available till Cardinals week. But the thing is he even going to play that week? Just because he's available doesn't mean he's going to play. And that's going to be super high altitude in Mexico City. So, yeah. But I've got my guy, David McNew, here as a call-in, and we're going to throw him into the conversation, man. It's great to see him. David, how you doing, bro?
Pretty good, buddy. How about you?
I'm doing pretty damn good, man. I've been a little anxious to get on. I was going to do a show yesterday, but I don't know. It just didn't line up that way. And it's good to be back, man. Good to be back in a, game week, ready for football, man.
I am too. I mean, we're going up against the Chargers here, and I'm honestly, a lot of people are like, "Oh, we should win this." They're missing half their defense. It's a trap game, folks.
Yeah.
I don't care how many players they're missing. They still have Herbert. They still have some good players here and there. It's a trap game. We cannot overlook these guys.
Yeah, definitely. Well, real quick, can I get your thoughts on Raphael's question here is hopefully we see Verrett play this Sunday. It's not a question, it's a comment, but basically a question. I think he's going to play, against his prior team in the Chargers. What do you think?
From what I've been seeing, Verrett's ready. He's not limping anymore. He's confident in his leg. He's running. He's cutting. That was my biggest concern, is him running, cutting, not being confident on it and hurting it because he's trying to baby it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now he's confident. He's running with confidence. He's cutting with confidence. I honestly think he's ready. And, I don't know if he's going to be as good as Moseley, but as long as he's close, I'm good.
Yeah, man. And something like, I think you heard me and Jesse Naylor talking about it, man. Just rotate him. There's no need to have him out there on every down. He was activated, the week of the Chiefs? So it's been a few weeks removed that he was even activated. So this is around the time that he will probably play. I'm guessing, I'm assuming. But yeah, hopefully. Looks like it's going to rain on Sunday as well. Yeah, I did hear this actually from Brian too. If so, who benefits from it? I think the 49ers are going to benefit with that run game because the Chargers are one of the worst running defenses in the league. Actually, if for anybody who doesn't know, the Chargers do have a really bad run defense. 49ers are known to have a really good run offense. Not so much this year, but still the 49ers are very good at running the ball and can psych the Chargers out a lot, man. So I think it favors the 49ers, especially when you have a check down option like McCaffrey. So that's what I think. What do you think, David?
I think having McCaffrey makes a big difference every game. I think we're going to be healthy as we have been, but Armstead is still a question mark, right?
Yeah. So I guess he hurt his other foot. He has a hairline fracture in his other foot. So we haven't gotten a time frame or anything, but they just told us he's still a non-participant.
Well, so when did the hairline fracture happen? I mean, this is the 49ers. This could have happened at the same time he had his first issue, and it could be like mostly healed up by now for all we know.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I mean, our brass don't like to give out info. It's like, the Harbaugh, Trent Baalke era, I think taught the 49ers brass to not give out info to the public and not let them know anything until it's a you don't need to know, we're not going to tell you type of situation is how they look at it now.
Right, the old Harbaugh, I'm not him, you got to ask him how he feels.
Yeah.
But you know what, the way from the sound of how they're making it sound with Armstead not being a participant in practice, it makes it seem like he's on the brink of being back in practice. So that's a good sign right there, right? That's what I think. And I heard about this injury weeks ago. That's why I talked about it with Jesse Naylor last week, because I had already heard about it. So I had brought it up before. This has been a while ago. So like you said, man, it could be something that's already healing up and looking all right.
And that's a big thing is, I mean, dude, getting Armstead back, the sooner the better. Givens is doing a good job. Ridgeway is, a good rotational player, but he's not meant to be in there full time like he is.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to, we need players that can. We actually need Armstead because he eats blockers and makes it easy for the defensive end on his side to get the quarterback.
Yeah.
Very
much
Ridgeway
so.
And Givens, I mean, they're not going to command two blockers or four offensive linemen just to block those two. They're not. That's not what they're made for. This is the point where we're missing DJ Jones, because if we had DJ Jones, we would still have that beast in the middle, and I don't think we'd be even talking about Armstead. We'd be like, take your time, buddy.
You need the big boys up the middle, man. And this is, the 49ers reaping what they sow and trading away DeForest Buckner. So that sucks big time. Everybody kind of foresaw this. And so, slapping us in the face, man. We're reaping the benefits of that trade.
There's all kinds of talk that Defo ain't happy with the Colts right now.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't think so. They just fired their coach.
I mean, he's like, he went from the Niners to the Colts thinking, oh, this is a good organization. They're up and coming. And now they're a mess. I mean, they're not as bad as the Washington commies, I mean, I don't think anyone's an organizational mess like that. But, I mean, they're still a mess, And Jim Irsay, I mean, he had good coaches. He had good players. It's almost like he's not caring as much as he did when he had Peyton Manning, Yeah. I mean, they keep trading for quarterbacks. Wentz, well, first Phillip Rivers. They signed Phillip Rivers. They didn't trade for him. Then they, got Carson Wentz, thinking, oh, we'll go young, and it was like, okay, go ahead and go young, but Wentz he's just one of those guys. He's like not a team player. He doesn't have the fire in his soul. he doesn't have what it takes to actually, be an NFL QB.
Well,
And that's
I,
what they're discovering. So he's probably going to be a free agent next year. I
I
sure
think
I
that
sure hope we don't sign him to be a backup. But,
if Wentz would have not a must win game at the end of the season, if he didn't do what he did in that last game, it probably would have been better to keep him around, man, and build off of that. But you even see like Taylor Heineke's over there on the Commanders now. He's having success, and I never know why they didn't just stick with him. I never understood that. So now they're kind of getting back in the groove with him. So that's cool. But yeah, man. I mean, shit. If he's unhappy, I would love to have him back. But trade deadline is over. He's not a free agent. I don't know how long his contract is right now. They're pretty dumb to fire their first year head coach. They didn't even really give him a chance. But hey, man, more teams in turmoil means more success for us.
Yeah,
oh man,
that's true.
I would love for Defoe to come back, man. That'd be badass. Raphael asks a question, and Raphael, actually, because I see you asking a few questions, how about you give us some of your thoughts as well, like as far as when you ask one of your questions, give your answer, and if you feel like calling in, that'd be great too. But for how many carries Mitchell will get this Sunday, I think he's going to have to get the bulk of the carries as far as between him and CMC, just to keep CMC healthy. But I mean, the thing is too, like Elijah Mitchell's coming off an injury. We saw what happened week 1. And the 49ers rushed him back with no time during training camp or anything to get acclimated, really, and comes out week 1, gets hurt right away before halftime. So the 49ers are going to have to find a balance. They've shown that Kyle Shanahan is willing to risk giving CMC like 30 carries, even though it's not very wise. I could see about 17 carries for Mitchell. That's what I think. And I would think using TDP and CMC might be something smart to do on the goal line, the red zone area. That's what I would think. What do you think, David?
I think we're going to see CMC in the slot. I think we're going to see 2 running backs out there. We're going to see Juice a little bit less now, because Kyle Shanahan's going to be putting CMC and Mitchell out there.
And his finger's still broken.
Gives him more he can do. You can put CMC in motion. All of a sudden you have a slot receiver, and the defense didn't plan for that. They have their 3 linebackers in.
Yeah.
Creating a mismatch, right?
Yeah.
You're going to see, CMC is a shiny new toy. And Kyle Shanahan's going, what can I do? It's like, this chops. Is what I want to see what Shanahan does with him. Does having CMC make Shanahan more creative? Because, having the team we've had, he's been kind of vanilla, same plays, predictable. Yeah. I mean, right?
Yeah, definitely. So
it also brings the one new dimension to Jimmy G's game. What do we always see in Jimmy G do? Throw check down, right? We're like dink and dunk, throw check downs. That's what Jimmy G does. Now he's going to be throwing that check down to CMC, and he can do more with it than the average running back. So that brings a whole new dimension to the offense.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what I was talking about earlier. I don't know if you were in yet, but this being a first-year regime with all the guys that left to Miami, we got all these new coaches on offense. So, and then to top it off, all the guy they were planning for was Trey Lance, right? So you've had to kind of navigate on the fly with having to learn how to navigate with Garoppolo. Now that you have a bye week, hopefully they got kind of tightened some of that stuff up, and you got CMC. So yeah, the fans have been licking their chops because we see the potential. The offense has been lackluster, so hopefully Kyle Shanahan kind of shows us his creativity without McDaniels. I would love to see that. You got Anthony Lynn in here, who's a great run game coordinator. So even though he's the assistant head coach, I'm sure he's butting in and giving his 2 cents with that stuff. I just want to see the fruits of the labor, man. I'm excited. It's oh man, bye week's always tough for me. And I was talking about on John Jay's show, 49ers Ultimate Report earlier. I told him, man, I can't believe we're already halfway through the season. And now the games are an odd number, but we're about halfway through the season if you count the bye week. And it feels like the season just started, so that sucks, man. It's tough. What up, Brian? Good to see you in here, buddy. Feel free to call in. It'd be great to have you call in too, man. Let me see.
I don't know if he's sometimes he's got family over and he's not in a position where he can call in, but
he might be making meatloaf again.
No, my camera looks grainy today. What's up with that? Do I have to clean the thing?
Maybe.
I'm gonna turn my camera off and try to clean it. I'll be right.
Okay.
I'm still here.
Okay. Raphael, you know what? Actually, David, do you have any thoughts on any more thoughts on the Mitchell and the carries?
I think we're going to see a split.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be splitting them, not necessarily down the middle, but hopefully down the middle.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kyle Shanahan's going to start, using both of them because, I mean, at the same time, maybe using both of them equally will keep both of them from getting hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, they both had injury issues, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's see if that's better. I highly doubt it.
They were both.
It's not much better at all.
I think a good point towards that though is like at the same time, even though they both continue to get injured, they were both overused previously. So I think that's what led to injury for both of them. So yeah, like you said, split the carries. I think it's going to be good to get Elijah Mitchell out there at first, to get that second and short, that third and short type of stuff, I think. But we'll see, man. I'm very curious to see how this offense is going to look now that they got the 2 running backs in there. All right. Raphael says, how many sacks will the D-line get on Sunday? We got Nick Bosa back. He should be back fully healthy.
I'm saying between 4 and 6. I wouldn't be surprised to see Nick Bosa get 2.
Yeah, I would definitely say 6. I could definitely lean towards 6.
Herbert? Oh, hold on. Is Herbert mobile?
Yeah, he's mobile. He's not.
I mean, he's not like a burner, but he can.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he can.
I mean, I could probably run faster than Jimmy G. Let's be honest here, but he's not a comparison.
Yeah.
Jimmy G before the ACL was. I honestly think he was a lot more mobile than he currently is.
Yeah.
I think that ACL really did something to him. He just in 2017, those 5 games he played, he looked like the QB. He looked like what we've been missing for, ever, right?
Yeah.
And then 2018 came along and he tore his ACL, and it's like he's been jittery G ever since, Yeah. I mean, I honestly think it's a psychology issue. The guy needs to go see a sports psychologist and get over whatever is going on in his head.
Yeah, I think we were talking about that last week, man. I think he has been doing it or something. He's been doing something to get over that stuff because we've been seeing it slowly. So it's great to see him getting back to his original form when we got him, man. Slowly but surely, man. I love it. Raphael says D-line getting 4 sacks. Raphael, I'm gonna hold you to it, man. 4 sacks. I say 6. I definitely think the 49ers could put pressure on the Chargers' offense by not only the D-line, but offensively scoring points and stuff like that. We got too many weapons. We should have a great run game against the Chargers. So I think we're going to outscore the Chargers, and that's going to put pressure on the Chargers' offense as a whole, and so that's going to lead to sacks. Now as well too, I thought, because I'm not a huge fan of the off coverage, and the 49ers do that a lot. And I think part of it is to conserve energy, but also you don't want to give the big plays, right? You want a team to have to meticulously go down the field and not give up the big plays, right? So that the more plays they have to run, the more chance there is for them to make a mistake and more chance for a turnover. But one thing I saw against the Falcons was the Falcons were playing super off coverage, like 9 yards down the field, and the Chargers are just banging. When you got a quarterback like a Justin Herbert that's going to execute that stuff, David.
Oh, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm just finding things.
Okay, I'm going to expand the screen when you jump back in on your video part. But
Okay.
like I was saying, man, yeah, the Falcons were playing off coverage against a quarterback like Justin Herbert. I don't think the 49ers can get away with that overall. We're going to hope that Verrett is going to be out there. But I think the 49ers are going to have to mix in more cover one press. And we have the tools to be able to utilize that type of defense. So put pressure, bump and run coverage to help the D-line have more time to get to the quarterback. So I would love to see that. DeMeco Ryans, you're going to have a lot of time with these 2 weeks to be able to formulate that game plan and understand what you've been doing wrong and what you've been doing right, what your strengths and weaknesses are now that Mosley is down. So excited to see that stuff too, man. You got any thoughts, David, or what do you think?
Well, when it comes to losing Mosley, I mean, the guy was playing really good. And it absolutely hurts, to lose a guy that's playing that good. It absolutely hurts,
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have to make adjustments. We're going to have to, instead of leaving Mosley one-on-one on the number 2 wide receiver or whatever was going on,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to have to send help to his side, which, is one less player in the middle of the field covering, right?
Yeah.
So, look what happened with Mahomes. He burned us. We were a pile of straws, and he was a man with a with a can of gas and a match. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
with help from Andy Reid, though,
okay, go ahead.
I think it was with a lot of help from Andy Reid, though, because you've heard me say it a million times. Mahomes wasn't doing anything spectacular in that game. It was more like it was getting schemed for those receivers to be in those spots. Like Andy Reid knew how to attack the 49ers' defense. So I think it was more of that.
But I mean, the Chiefs just absolutely burned us, though. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Yeah,
it was just one of those. We didn't have Nick Bosa that game, did we? We didn't, did we?
Against the Chargers?
No, we did. We had Bosa. But
yeah, we did. Yeah. We didn't have him.
I mean, it was like him and Hufanga showed up. We had Mooney Ward too, but he was, hurt. Yeah. And obviously he obviously wasn't himself physically in that game.
that was the game where everybody rushed back from injury. Now that I remember. The Falcons was the one where we were missing a lot of people.
But when it comes down to it, we just need to play better. I mean, we have a good football team. When we're playing good, we can beat anybody anywhere. People can try to argue with me about that all they want, but it's true. We can beat any team anywhere.
Yeah.
And I mean, what we're missing that hog in the middle though at this point. And that's just playing something we need. Hey, what up, buddy? What's going on?
Hey, how you guys doing today?
Doing great, man. Good to see you in here. How you doing? You making meatloaf again?
That was last night. That turned out pretty good.
Hell yeah, man. I had a great dinner. The wife made us some enchiladas, so that was bomb.
Good. Yeah. It's always good when you get good cooking at home. Home cooking is always the best.
Hell yeah. I felt bad for Shifty, man, because we're all talking about the food we're gonna eat. And he's all hungry sitting on the cast.
He should do something like when they score a point or something, he could take him, bite a chip or something, or
with
something.
some
Dip
dip.
a chip. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a drinking game. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, yeah, Alshire is expecting to play Elijah Mitchell. I'm not so sure about Colton McGivitz, but he wouldn't start anyways. I'm assuming he wouldn't start regardless. So, that's not a big deal. But the other two guys, great to have, anticipate them coming back, man. That feeling of having that solid team back, man. The linebacking core, the running back room is going to be badass. 49ers sign wide receiver Tajay Sharp. I watched some of his stuff, and he looked pretty decent. He wasn't, of course, blowing up other teams, but he was holding on to the ball, man. And he seems like a guy to where when you throw him like a quick slant and stuff like that, a lot of times, like especially we've seen it from the 49ers as receivers, that players are they're going for the ball and they drop it because they're thinking about the hit or what's going to come after the catch, right? So this guy seems to what's the word for it? But he makes sure he catches the ball first. So I like seeing that out of him. He wasn't getting a whole lot of he wasn't really getting any yak whatsoever, but he was securing the ball at the catch point. So that was good to see. We'll see what he can do. 49ers, they activated Big Play Tay last week. So do you guys have any thoughts, by the way, before I keep ranting on?
I wanted to ask you guys what you guys are thinking a little bit about who, not your personal opinion, but out of CMC and Elijah Mitchell coming back, who do you think will be the bell cow?
Oh my God. Should be TDP, his big ass.
Right?
But yeah,
Because ideally when you think of a bell cow, right? And I had to Google it, because I have an idea what, my opinion of a bell cow is, but I Googled NFL's definition and it says you're a special player. You're a special back. Okay. So what does that mean? You're an all-purpose back? Are you a wide receiver back? What are you just a rushing back? But when I think of a bell cow, I think of somebody who can run straight up the middle. And I'm like, hey, yeah, that sounds great. But when you just reading by the definition, CMC might get a lot more carries and touches just because of his versatility.
yeah. That's what I'm thinking too. And Elijah Mitchell, he's probably going to be a little rusty, still coming back from injury. So we don't know how he's been looking in practice, how confident the coaches are feeling. So they might just lean towards CMC more for that this week because of that, because they're already shown the confidence that they have in giving him like 30 touches in one game. So that's worrisome. But to get Elijah Mitchell acclimated a little bit here and there, pepper him in, that'd be great. Even TDP, I think at the goal line, if we end up in a goal line stand or something like that, incorporate TDP. No idea what's going to happen with JP Mason or Tevin Coleman, but TDP seems like the guy that this coaching staff wants to push for as the third guy, pretty much week in and week out. So I think that's what's going to happen. Now, as far as bell cow, yeah, I think for this week it's going to be CMC. But
I would love to see him. I'd love to see him go into like a rotational back, field like they had before in the past, but I don't see that happening. And the other thing that I would like to touch bases with you guys is if Elijah Mitchell comes back and we start, featuring him in the offense more than CMC, that kind of nullifies the CMC trade or acquisition, in my opinion. And for us to go back to Mitchell running the offense or running the ball, wouldn't that put our offense back to where we were at like week one? And we're trying to get better than week one or like what we were like last year, where we were featuring just Debo and Mitchell. Well, now we have a little bit more people healthy and we have a little bit more like weapons to use. So if we was to go back to that one mindset again of just pound the ball, we have 5 other Pro Bowl players or all pro players that, on the offensive side that we aren't using at all except to block.
David, we kind of shut you out a little bit. Do you want to give any thoughts on that? If not, I'll give my thoughts first.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So speaking of that, man, it brought me to mind because I wrote it down earlier, but brought it back to mind. Dwelly, continue to incorporate him. We don't know how Juszczyk's going to come, how he's going to look. He's still, whether he had surgery or not, his finger is still broken. And it looked pretty bad. When I saw it during the game, finger caught in the face mask, it looked really bad. But they're expecting Juszczyk pretty soon, which is surprising. But continue to incorporate Diwali. He's super clutch, man. There are so many weapons at the disposal of this team that there is no excuse. Like you're saying, Brian, we don't have to revert to anything. I think we can just play off like all the strengths we had before and just open up a whole new can of whoop ass.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way I could think of saying it.
Well, I agree, because like right now we've added a new wrinkle, and I know there's a lot of like speculation and it's been going on forever, but OBJ, we don't necessarily need OBJ because we have all these other potential wrinkles, all these potential offensive weapons. But if you did add somebody like him, it's just like there's only one ball. There's only so many people who can get the ball. So if you're not putting somebody in who's getting those drives, those yards, like say we put Mitchell in and he only gets like 2 rushes and we go 8 yards, it's third and 8, and then we drop the ball and then we have to punt. Like we're not executing. So yeah, they got to definitely be a little bit more precise on their calls. Everybody needs to execute. If you get the ball thrown to you, you got to catch it, even if it's your teeth. I don't care if there's a face mask or not. You got to catch that ball. And with that, those thoughts, it's like I can't see them like dumbing down the offense and going backwards right now when all these players we're expecting them. Maybe it's just fan hope, but we're all expecting them to break out. We want to see Ayuk, get 1,000 yards. We'd like to see Debo get somewhere around there. We expect him to get that with his contract. It's just OW weapon Juice. He breaks his finger, so we know he's going to be a couple weeks before he's back. But he's an OW weapon because what he does, he's a Swiss Army knife in our offense. We got Kittle coming back. He had a groin injury too, and now he's getting more featured. So I know everything takes off. And the way the offense first started out, we were using some of these guys to block, and they weren't able to run out and catch the ball. Now by adding somebody like CMC in there, he's going to run out and catch. The other guys can still block. We're still going to be able to succeed. So I don't know. I'm really excited to get Elijah Mitchell back. I really think he's a great back, but at this point, man, it would be really, really, really awesome to see them do the rotation again. And I don't think they're going to at this point.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, shout out John Reed. Thank you. Bang, bang, Niner gang. He's here, man. We talked a little bit yesterday. Thank you for being here. Yeah, man, I think it's kind of like I was saying, build on your strengths from before and open a whole new can of whoop ass. And the one analogy I could say is like souping up a car is basically what you're doing, right? Adding more parts like turbo and stuff like that. So definitely incorporate it, execute like you said. I think some of these guys are going to help, kind of like Emmanuel Sanders, right? He kind of revamped the offense and taught these younger receivers how to be professionals in the league. This team wasn't established as like that championship caliber team just yet, and just that veteran savvy that Emmanuel Sanders brought in to help Deebo Samuel progress in his learning and everything like that was awesome. And I think CMC could add that to not just the running back room, but even the receivers as well. David, you got any thoughts on that?
I think CMC is going to be a receiver. He's going to be a running back. He's going to be he's going to be quarterback. He's going to be anything Kyle wants him to be. We're going to see him line up at slot. I mean,
running back, quarterback.
Exactly. you know what? I've been saying Juice is the 49ers Swiss Army knife. Now we have, so if Juice is a Swiss Army knife, then CMC is the ultimate multi-tool, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's just how do you compare these guys?
That's a good one.
I mean, so we're going to see CMC used in many different ways, and I am okay with all of it, especially if it takes the ball out of Deebo Samuel's hands at running back. I mean, we can't be running that guy into the ground.
Yeah, we even saw that last year. Speaking of all that Swiss Army knife stuff, we even saw that from Debo. He can be a quarterback. He could be a kick returner. But I think you want to save that till the postseason. So maybe not so much for CMC, but if you want to continue to incorporate Debo Samuel in that, I would save that for the postseason. But yeah, man, just these guys, so many ways you could use them. So now that CMC has had weeks to build on learning the offense, I'm excited to see what they're going to pull off against the Chargers, and they better not let us down, man. It's really going to piss me off. But Brian, earlier I was talking about I think the 49ers against the Chargers are going to have to play some more cover one press. I saw the Falcons were playing a lot of off coverage, giving the Chargers 9 yards of cushion. And I'm saying, like with a quarterback like Herbert, you can't do that. They're going to pick you apart all day at that point. And the 49ers have the tools to play man defense. So I think that's going to be the way to go. 2-man up, 1-man, even with the spy sometimes, man, because Herbert can get out of the pocket and move around a little bit. What do you think, bro?
Herbert's a good quarterback. He's a really good quarterback. He is one of those guys that he can beat you with his feet or his arm. And if you do give him that like 8 yards, 9 yards cushion like you're talking about, he'll just pull it down and he'll run on you. And then when you start, buying into him running, he's going to start passing on you. So
yeah,
this is a scary game. I predicted us to go 12-5 for the whole season. And I know I might be on the bubble on that, but this is one of those games. The Falcons, the Chargers, the Bears. I know people are like, oh, you're just saying the teams that we already lost to. No, you go back and you look at it, like our rivalries against these teams are hard. The Bears beat us in Levi's, our home opener. The Chargers have been beating us ever since the Super Bowl. We usually play them almost every year in preseason, and it's just they know our team better than we probably know them because they compete against us every year. They're
not too far away. They probably got spies in practice. Not just kidding.
Well, no, for sure, because it's like they definitely practice with us. We do our scrimmages against them. They know a lot about our team, and so this is gonna be a scary game. And the problem with them too is like last year's scrimmage when we had Trey Lance and Jimmy playing against them, they dogged us. They have that confidence, against us. So they don't think we're anything right now. So if we can go in there and win, that's going to put a lot, that's going to put a lot of that to rest. But they think they're the Chiefs, so.
Yeah. Chiefs South.
Yeah.
But, speaking of that, man, because that's a great point I didn't think about till now. You brought it up. That scrimmage where Trey Lance and Garoppolo went to go practice with the Chargers last year. The Chargers defenders were laughing at Garoppolo, right?
Yep.
So I'm curious to see if Garoppolo is going to get the last laugh in this one. Stay tuned until next time.
Yeah, until next week.
Yeah, man. I hope Garoppolo gets the last laugh in this game, and we'll see how funny it is this time. David, you got any thoughts on any of that?
Garoppolo, we just need to. I mean, he's not bad. He's not good. He's average, And I've seen him go off. I mean, the one game I've seen him go off was the 2019 New Orleans Saints, playoff game. Or no. It wasn't even the playoff game. It was the regular season. Yeah, it was the regular season game.
Yeah, it was a playoff atmosphere though. But everybody always brings that one up.
It was at that point where we had to win or we could kiss the 1 seed goodbye, if I remember right. Basically. And I mean, that was probably the only game I think I've ever seen him go off. I mean, the rest of the time he tries, but then he throws like a lame duck with a poor sense of direction, and it gets picked off by the other team. It's kind of disappointing, but I think with Mitchell and McCaffrey, we could run the ball 35, 40 times. Jimmy G could, this will bring the play action. The play action will start working again because teams are going to be like they're going to be fearing CMC and Mitchell. So Jimmy G is going to be running back like he's play action. The safety's going to come up. Everyone's going to freeze. And then all of a sudden he's going to have 2 or 3 guys he can throw the ball to.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I could see as long as we limit Jimmy G, and I've been saying 22, 23 throws, I'm going to bring it up just a hair to 25. If we can limit him to 25 throws, we win the game. And that's just, if you look at the history of what we've done, the history is we limit how many times the guy throws the ball, we win the game. Yeah. So at this point, we need to be running the ball. We need to, I mean, when it comes to McGlinchey too, it'll also limit him getting blown up on pass plays, right?
Yeah.
So believe it or not, when it comes to the offensive line, I'm kind of, I was saying Brindle sucks. Compared to McGlinchey, I don't think Brindle sucks.
Compared to McGlinchey. At least in pass protection, right?
I mean, dude, the guy had, what was it, the last game or the game against the Chiefs where he had 5 penalties?
Shit.
I mean,
I think that was against the
5
Falcons.
penalties in one game. How is this guy starting? Let's slap Brunskill out there, and we will, we would be better off. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's even getting choke slammed. Even when he's not penalized in pass protection is not his strength, man. Brendel as well. But, John Reed here brings up something, man, that reminds me of a point I wanted to talk about before that happened in the Rams game. He says, should really help Kittle in the middle, should not need to block as much now. Very much so. And one thing that I love to see, because you guys heard me talk about it before, Vernon Davis, right? Alex Smith and Vernon Davis, they used to always pin on the route and have like 3 touchdowns in one game just off the seam route. And we haven't seen that for a long time. And what was the one connection that the really huge play that Jimmy Garoppolo had to Kittle outside of the touchdown was that seam route up the middle. But some of the other players had a good play in that as well. But it was just badass to see it again. So I hope the 49ers continue to utilize that. We talked about Dwally being utilized more too. So get those 2 guys running up the middle. CMC even on some seam routes would be great, man. But yeah, John Reed, that's a great point about opening stuff up the middle as well.
We got a couple guys in the chat. We got Damian Lee coming in. So what's up, buddy? And we got Rich Kells Chronicles is in the chat too. What up, man?
Hell yeah. Thank you guys. Everybody that's in here supporting, I really appreciate it, man. My buddy Juan Jose Real says, hey, Carnal, what's up, bro? While you guys go kick that Chargers asses, bro, McCaffrey, bro, good choice. Proud of you, man. Hey, man, likewise, I appreciate it, man. Hope you're having a great night. And that's a division opponent for him. He's a Raiders fan, so I understand where he's coming from. We're definitely rooting for the same victory this weekend. But yeah, everybody that's in here saying what's up to you. Hope you guys are all having a great night. Thank you for chiming in. It's Damian Lee, Celts Chronicles. If I missed one, I'm sorry. Trying to see if we have any questions in here. But do you guys have any thoughts on that in the meantime? Oh, wait.
Let's see. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. He's Jamie Lee spitting facts right there.
Yeah, Damian Lee, thank you for being here. I was gonna say something actually. It's really weird, that stat, because I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's weird the history behind it. And I feel like before the history was different on whether if Garoppolo his passing is limited, then I understood more in the past, like 2019, overcoming those things that happened in the past, like the ACL tear and all that. I think that was part of it, where he wasn't throwing as well. He wasn't as mobile, right? He still had the knee brace. 2020, kind of the same thing. Now he's coming out of his shell again a little bit, little by little. And this year, I feel like is different when it comes to that stat. Now it's the receivers dropping passes, or Brendel or McGlinchey are whiffing on pass protection. So in years past, I would have, it would have been Garoppolo's fault because he throws really dumb passes, interceptions
in the last game, we saw Burford. Let Aaron Donald right on by. But the truth be told, it wasn't his fault because the play clock was running down. Mm-hmm. And normally Burford taps Brendel, and Brendel snaps the ball. This is how things been working. Yeah. And Burford was looking back at Jimmy. The play clock was running down, and Jimmy did the snap the ball right now thing, and Burford didn't even have time to react. And all you need to do is give Aaron Donald a split second, and he's by you. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Burford's been playing good. Banks has been playing good. Trent Williams is coming back to, he came back from injury. I fully expect him to be himself this next game. Brendel, I'm going to call him average. I'm going to take it easy on the guy this stream. I'm going to call him average, but McGlinchey needs to step up big time. I mean, either that or let's put Brunskill in there because he is just playing a better option when it comes to pass protection. Maybe not run blocking, but pass protection. He is a better option. So, I mean, we don't have to worry about it till this off season, but I do not see McGlinchey coming back. If they re-sign him, I might just wig out.
I don't blame you. Brian looks like he wants to get something off his chest real quick.
Well, okay, so depending on how you speak about Jimmy, you're either a Jimmy hater or you're a Jimmy stan. There is no in between. It doesn't seem like you can't just be like, okay, well, he didn't do well that play, or
I'm an in-betweener, man.
I'm an in-betweener too. I like that. That's why I think me and you get along a lot. And David, I believe he's an in-betweener too because he admits when Jimmy does good. I'm not gonna say I don't want to say David, you're a hater because you're not. But my point is, do you guys remember ever hearing Brett Favre, anybody say, "Man, I dropped the ball because he just throws it too hard"?
No.
But he still threw the ball, and players still dropped the ball. It was their job to catch the ball when he got into their realm, their atmosphere.
Vicinity, yeah.
Exactly. So I've been noticing this, because it's not every time, does Jimmy throw a great pass, but when you throw a pass and it hits the player's hands, that's not on the quarterback at that point. That was on you, the 50%, it's a 50-50 ball. Well, when it hits your hands, now it's 80-20, right? You should come up with that grab. We can't put stick 'em on our hands anymore, but if you need a little bit of stick 'em, maybe that's what you need to do. So last year in the playoff game with the Green Bay Packers, Jimmy tossed the ball to Kittle right in the middle, and it went right past him. Yeah, I think it even hit his hands, and he dropped it. And there's been other games, and I don't have to go back through them all, but Cardinal game last season, Kittle had that giant fumble. It's when the quarterback executes, he did his job. So now it's the rest of the team. It's their job to go and do something, right? So I do think Jimmy has the ability, has the possibility, the athleticism, the capability to win a Super Bowl with the Niners. Mm-hmm. But he won't ever get the credit for being there. He'll just be one of those guys. He was just on the train all the way there. And even if he throws 300 yards or has a spectacular game, even if he was to make MVP, people are still going to never let him forget the 2019, Emmanuel Sanders drop. They won't, and it wasn't a drop. He overthrew him, and I thought the guy couldn't throw so it's he can't throw 5 yards, and he overthrew his wide receiver. So that's my little rant. I'm over it.
Now he's underthrowing deep passes is the thing too. So I think that's a little bit of a mental block, man. Like you said exactly too, man. So we're not Jimmy Stans, me and Brian, of course, I think like Jesse said, let's call it what it is. We're Niner fans at the end of the day. So we want Jimmy to be successful. When he does good things, we're going to applaud him. We're going to give him credit. When he does bad things, we're going to hound him too. So it goes both ways, guys. Don't think we're not going to give him his shit. Give him all the smoke if you don't deserve it.
That's why I might like him, I might hate him, but if there's an opportunity to upgrade, and we have an opportunity to upgrade, at that position or
Yeah.
at any position, I mean, you could have a fan favorite. He can still be your fan on your fantasy team and go somewhere else and play somewhere else and have a great career. But at the end of the day, can you guys see my jersey? You can't cut fans, but players get traded and they get cut all the time.
Yeah.
So it's if you're a fan, you're a fan. You're not necessarily a fan for that player. He might be a great player, but you're a fan because of the team. It's the name on the front, not the back.
I think somebody's like tapping in some thumbtacks upstairs or something like that. It's weird. Can you guys hear that?
I can't hear nothing.
Okay, cool. That's okay. That's all I needed to hear. But Damian says to win, Jimmy Lee only throws 22 times and both running backs must have 12 runs. I agree with the first part, but I think the running backs each, McCaffrey and because McCaffrey just against the Rams, he had 27 touches, right? So, if you split that up, that's already like 13-ish, 13 and a half touches. So they're going to have more than 12 each. But yeah, in the vicinity, probably like 15 each. I would like to see some TDP as well, just to take some load off of a guy that just got here. And sorry, guys. I'm going to mute Brian for a little bit because he's got some static going on. But like I was saying, I'll bring him back in a bit. But yeah, like I was saying, if you round it up to around 30 touches for the running backs, right? Jeff Wilson was playing against the Rams as well. He got some touches. Now, even with that, with putting Jeff Wilson in, McCaffrey still got 27. So I think McCaffrey's going to get a lot more than 12. I think Elijah Mitchell's going to get maybe like 16, 17. That's what I think. You guys can quote me on that. Hound me if you want afterwards. But that's my prediction. I think maybe 17 and 20 for each of those guys. And let's get TDP some touches too, man, to take a load off those other guys. Now, let me see, because we have a question right here too. Hopefully Brian comes back in. Hey, David, can you text Brian real quick?
Yeah.
Be able to? Yeah, can you text Brian? Tom, sorry, it was just the static stuff.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Celts Chronicles says, do we get some picks with the Chargers playing backup wide receivers? We better, man.
I think so.
Yeah, you think so? Go ahead. Give me your thoughts, bro.
So I think Hufanga. Whoa, there goes my earbud. I think Hufanga, but it has a knack for being in the right place at the right time, and the backup wide receivers aren't going to be as good as their starters at being in the right place at the right time. So I honestly think that I'm hoping to get 2 picks this game. Also hoping that our defense and special teams does score some points. I'm not necessarily saying a lot of points, but just something would be nice.
Yeah, definitely. And I could also see, speaking of Hufanga, I could see him getting in on a blitz against Herbert, man. That he has a real good knack for coming in on the blitz, and he almost got in on actually Patrick Mahomes on one of those. And Patrick Mahomes just got the ball out really quick. So that's why Hufanga didn't get there. But Hufanga's really good at that, man. And when the defense dials that up from DeMeco Ryans, good things typically happen. So, yeah, I feel confident in it. If Verrett's going to play, that's going to be 2 great receivers on the outside. We don't know how good of shape Verrett's going to be in. But, yeah, I do have confidence in that. Like I said, I understand the 49ers are going to play zone probably for the most part. But I would like to see them add more press just to be able to help the defensive line get there, give them a little bit more time to get to the quarterback. But when you play that zone, hopefully the defenders can sit down and break on those passes. So, yeah, hopefully 2 interceptions. No excuses not to catch the ball. Justin Herbert throws a really beautiful spiral. Ismo TV says just dropping in so far. So forgive me if you brought this up already. What's your thoughts on OBJ? And hopefully Brian comes back in. I want to get his thoughts on it as well. But if you guys haven't heard, I'm sure everybody here has already heard. OBJ, it's been reported by Jay Glazer of Fox that David's already giving us his thoughts, but I'm going to report this on the channel, then I'm going to get David's thoughts because he's ready to go. Jay Glazer of Fox, he's reported that OBJ should be cleared to be ready to go in the NFL this week, and so undergoing the physical and all that type of stuff, that multiple teams are going to be in a bidding war for OBJ once he is cleared. Now, the 49ers, his name came up, the Bills, and the Cowboys. If I'm missing anybody, please let me know. But those are the only teams that I have heard that are interested in acquiring OBJ, was the 49ers, the Bills, and the Cowboys. I'm going to let David go first because I definitely have some thoughts on this.
So when it comes to OBJ, he's not the player he used to be. We don't know what he's going to be because he's coming back from another ACL tear. I believe this is his second. And, he's not a young man anymore. He's 29, if not 30. I'm not quite sure of his age. But I don't think we need him. You bring him in. You got Jimmy G at QB. We have, Deebo Samuel. We have Ayuk. We have Jennings. We have Gray. We have McLeod. We have, Kittle. How many targets is OBJ going to get? He's not going to be happy. So I honestly think that it wouldn't be good for the locker room or the team to bring him in. And on top of that, like I said, he's not the guy he used to be. He's still good, don't get me wrong, but he's not the guy he used to be. I could see him signing with someone like, let's see, like the Eagles or the Giants. I'm honestly, the Giants need a wide receiver. I could see him going there because he will get all the targets he wants. But I don't see us going after him. I don't see it being beneficial to the team. With everything we have right now, we don't honestly need him. Yeah. The Rams could probably use him worse than anyone else, but
yeah. Okay. So here's the thing that I'm going to start off with, man, because he would be good depth, I think. But the thing is, you add the personality aspect to it, and like David was saying about him having to get the ball. This is why I think he's not going to come to the 49ers. I don't know how the salary cap situation is going for those two other teams. Now, like I said, I don't know if there's any other teams that are going to be in the quote unquote bidding war. But as of right now, it's the Bills and the Cowboys being reported. And this is another thing too, because this is notable. Jay Glazer is supposed to be a pretty reputable source as well too. He works for Fox. And other journalists say that he has a very reputable reputation, that when he says something, he knows somebody. He knows what he's talking about. So listen, when he's talking about it, listen. So I definitely have to put that in. But the Bills and the Cowboys, look at the quarterbacks that they have, right? I could see him definitely going to the Bills because you get him opposite of Stephon Diggs. They would love that. Now, like David was saying, it was reported that from a doctor, first time around you tear your ACL, then okay, it's pretty bad. You're not the same player. After 2 times you tear the same ACL, you're definitely not the same guy. So we're gonna have to see how OBJ is gonna look coming out of the surgery less than a year removed from that injury. So that's another thing. He injured it in the Super Bowl. That was less than a year ago. Has not had a full year to recover from that. And just to begin with, a doctor, a specialist, an expert is saying that receivers do not come back the same after these type of injuries happening to the same leg twice. So that's another thing. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna slam the desk and in blasphemy if the 49ers acquire him. But, of course, it's going to have to do with what the deal is as well. But the 49ers don't have a whole lot to work with as well. I don't think they need him. I don't think they are very super interested in him. But like David said, we don't need him. We have Brandon Ayuk, Juwan Jennings. We'll see what Tajay Sharp does. I think during the second stretch of the season, we're going to see Ray McLeod get incorporated into the offense a lot more with the stuff we're hearing about from training camp with the end arounds and jet sweeps, stuff like that, right? So, yeah, man, those are some of my thoughts. I think he's going to go somewhere else. Any other thoughts, David?
I think when it comes to OBJ, when is he actually going to be ready? When he tore it, it was in the Super Bowl, was it not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just talked about this.
Well, I know. But typically it takes a player around a year-ish to come back, depending on the severity.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's rehabbing. I'm sure he's ready, but when it comes down to him being 100%, that's not going to happen until next season.
That's the difference, right? Yeah.
It is, but like I said, a team like the Giants, that's what he needs. He needs a team like the Giants, but they might not be interested because they seem to. They traded their best wide receiver away, so they seem content with where they're at, and it almost seems like they're still in rebuild mode, even though they're 6-2.
Yeah. It's really weird what they got going on.
Who else wants OBJ? You think the Vikings?
Like I said, man, I just heard Bills and Cowboys. Other than that, I don't know. But yeah, the Eagles could be one. The Vikings, I don't know. Outside of Justin Jefferson, they lost. What's their damn tight end's name? I'm forgetting his name right now. But Brian, you going out to dinner or what?
Yeah, I have to go do some stuff with my daughter, and I just want to jump back in. I know there was something going on with my phone, and it's getting to the time where I gotta dip out. If you guys have ever heard about the organization for Job's Daughters, my little girl, she's a Joby, and it's something to do. It's fun. I used to be a DMLA, so it's like the girl group. It's kind of like the Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts, but we're gonna head out. And thank you guys for having me on. Wolf, I'll talk to you real soon. David, you as well. And hopefully I can be on with you guys next time. You guys have a great night. Thanks,
all right, brother. You too, man. Thank you. Take care.
All right, bye.
Yep, take it easy, Bryant.
Hey, I wanted to...
Damian Lee in the chat just brought up a team that we didn't even mention. Green Bay. They have no wide receivers. They
ain't got no shot. There would be no reason whatsoever.
That's the thing. Is OBJ looking to sign with the team for another ring? Or is he looking to sign a long-term?
Yeah, he wants to win. He wants a championship, man. But he also with the injuries, he definitely wants to get paid as well. So that's another thing. Salary cap. I don't know how it's looking for those other teams, man. But for the 49ers, it's not looking too hot. We got a couple million left. What do we got? About 3.8 million left. 4.8 million left. So if you were to get OBJ, which, like I said, I don't think is the wisest. I don't think he would agree to come here with having Jimmy Garoppolo as the quarterback and already all the weapons that we have. He would have to share the ball with all those guys. But at the same time, he could be looking at it like, hey, they got all these weapons and a good enough quarterback to where I'm going to have the opportunity to be open. I'm not going to be hounded every play. So I am going to have opportunities to be successful. And if the 49ers could do a contract that's more back friendly, like you give him incentives based type contract to start out with, and then over the next years, like you sign him to a 2-year contract with it's back loaded, right? You give him more money next year, which the NFL as a whole should be ramping up a lot of money. They're supposed to sell the rights to streaming completely next year. So no more NFL Sunday Ticket on DirecTV, guys. Next year the NFL is going to be strictly streaming. As from what I understand, they're having a bidding war themselves. So we're going to have to see how that salary cap's going to look next year.
Well, I mean, we have the CMC contract too, but I mean, we're getting we've got guys coming off the books like McGlinchey. This is his 5th year contract, you know, and well, this is his 5th year option, you know. So I don't know what he's making, but it's somewhere between 10 and 15 million. So we're going to have that off the books.
I'm talking about McGlinchey.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he comes back, I think he's going to come back, bro. I know you don't want to hear it, but I think because of his strength in the running game, I think he's back next year. But I think he's going to take a team-friendly deal.
Honestly, I hope they shop around, because there's going to be some veteran guys that can do more than McGlinchey available.
Well, they need to start drafting his replacement or something, man. Definitely. But I do think he's going to sign to a team-friendly deal next year. Nobody else is going to want him, I don't think. Nobody else is going to want him. He's going to want to stick around. He knows the system. The coaches love him for his run blocking, so I think he's going to be here next year. And maybe just as a depth piece, but I think he's going to start the season. You guys quote me on that. Let me know if you think I'm wrong as well. But Damian Lee says, I'm not making excuses, but I don't think Jimmy has broke that scar tissue from surgery. He says scar tissue. I think that's what he meant to spell too. And I agree, man. I don't think he's broke it, but I think he's breaking out of it, out of the cocoon a little bit, man. So getting back to his old form of 2017, I think, we're starting to see stuff we didn't see last year. Just look back to last year, and this guy out of nowhere, all of a sudden, he has no training camp, none of all that stuff, comes out of nowhere off of surgery, and he's starting to throw deep again. Pocket mobility is looking great. He doesn't have a brace on his knee. I don't know what it took for him to get to this point where he's starting to break back into his old form, but it's really weird to me. So I disagree to a point, because I wouldn't say he's completely broken out of that, but I think little by little he definitely is. Christina Hernandez says, ha 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 ha. I don't know what was so funny, but ha ha ha. Glad we could make you laugh. You got any thoughts, David? Because we got Ndamukong Suh comment here.
Oh boy! So I mean, when it comes to Suh, he's 35. We need someone in the middle, and Suh isn't necessarily a bad option, but oh man, I mean, I'm kind of on the fence, because we're talking about a guy that's didn't he stomp on the back of someone's head? But I mean, yeah, he was younger, and being 35, I would imagine he grew out of that.
Yeah.
But at this point, I think I would take him, but I would explain to him that, being a 49er, we act a certain way. Like right off the bat, you tell him what's up and what we're expecting out of him. And, if he doesn't want to sign the contract, then he doesn't want to sign the contract.
No.
But explain to him what we want and sign him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I agree. We need help in the middle. The 49ers was shown that if a guy has a bad attitude, if he's showing bad character, they have no hesitation in releasing him. So I think he's grown out of that stuff. I didn't hear any problems coming out of Tampa Bay when he was on Tampa Bay with Tom Brady. So I would be willing and ready and willing to take a look at Ndamukong Suh. Definitely, man. Shit, why not? I'm sure he would love to come to the 49ers as well. Like you said, I think it's known around the league what the 49ers as an organization expect from players when it comes to their character. So if this isn't a type of place where he would want to come to, then so be it. But I'm sure he knows what to expect. John Reed says he agrees 100% on the OBJ take. Hey, man, thank you. Let's join the bandwagon. But yeah, thank you. And if I'm wrong, guys, don't be afraid to come in. Anybody who ever disagrees with me, don't ever be afraid to let me know. Tell me I'm stupid. I'll laugh at it. I'll laugh with you guys, but it is what it is, man. I'll be wrong sometimes. I'll be right sometimes. That's just, I'm trying to look at it from a logical standpoint, and that's how I feel right now.
But so I mean, are there any other options out there other than Suh? You know, we're all talking about Ndamukong Suh, but are there any other options? I don't think there are.
I wish I knew the free agent market. If I had more time, if I didn't work full time, like I got off work and did this. So it's like straight from work to preparing for this, then I start doing this, and then I get a little bit of free time. So I wish I had more time to check out the free agent market. But outside of when the trade deadline closed, we heard about the 49ers trying to acquire Daron Payne, I should say. Price. Sorry, guys. Daron Payne. And there was another defensive tackle that the 49ers are going after whose name Jesse Naylor would not give us, but he heard of, I guess. So they're out there looking, man. They're shopping around, I'm sure, still continuously. The practice window for Armstead is still not opened yet. So I'm sure they're shopping around. We don't know what's going on with Kinlaw, but even then, he's not available till at least the Cardinals game. And even then, I don't think he would play in that game. Ismo TV says, I agree. The numbers don't show it, but this is the most confident I've seen Jimmy. I completely agree. That's exactly what I'm saying. Yep. I like the way you put it there, because that's pretty much what I'm boiling it down to. And it's weird. The one time he doesn't have an offseason, which really, if you point back to the history of him being with the 49ers, a lot of people criticize Jimmy Garoppolo because he takes off and goes to everybody during the offseason. So I guess really you could say most off seasons he doesn't really have an offseason. But really, especially this one, he wasn't there for training camp or anything outside of warming up and testing his arm out on the sidelines. A few drop passes, not on Jimmy. I agree. Derek Brown from Carolina was the other guy the Niners wanted. Well, there you go, David. You hear that?
Who?
I guess Derek Brown, from the Panthers.
Yeah, but they want the moon for him. He was a top 10 pick.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of these other teams are expecting overpay for this stuff. So that's why I didn't see the 49ers acquiring guys like that, because we didn't have a whole lot to give up other than player for player type stuff. But if you guys got any questions, please throw them in the comments. Yeah, man, we just overall hope that the 49ers have a great game coming out of the bye. Hopefully time to rest up, gets McGlinchey going back in the right direction, because he came out to start the season, was looking really good. Then I think he's starting to get beat up a little bit, and that might be playing a part in his pass protection flaws. But yeah, like I said, hopefully he's resting up and feeling better this coming week against the Chargers. Did you want to say something, David? It looked like you were getting ready to say something.
So the Chargers have officially taken our place as the mass unit of the NFL. I've heard reports that Joey Bosa is not coming back this year. A lot of people are like, he's just out for the game, but I've heard reports that he's not coming back. J.C. Jackson, I've heard reports he's out for the year. Their defense, they still have Khalil Mack. And Khalil Mack's going to line up on McGlinchey every down. So I'm just hoping McGlinchey's ready for that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So, I'm confident that the O-line, they've been ramping it up as the season gets on. Outside of, like I said, McGlinchey kind of getting beat up through the season and looking worse of the wear. But I think they're going to look pretty good in this game. Like you said, if no Joey Bosa, that's got to be very encouraging for the 49ers O-line. And John Reed has a question here about Sheldon Richardson, defensive tackle as a free agent signing, ? And
is he a free agent?
That's what John Reed says.
I mean, like if he's a free agent, shoot, let's bring him in. You know?
Yeah. And this is the other thing too, man. Chris Kasarik and the 49ers, you know, I don't know how much of a role the rest of the 49ers management plays in the eye for talent when it comes to the defensive linemen. But Chris Forrester, man, those guys that are in charge of bringing in the defensive tackles, the defensive ends, they have such an eye for talent where they can find the diamonds in the rough, clean them all up, polish them all up, and they're these great players for us, man. So even if the 49ers don't sign a big name off the free agent market, I'm confident if they bring in a defensive tackle, that's going to be a successful guy. So I'm just ready for that. And
he's 31.
Uh-huh.
And I mean he is a free agent. So let's
it's not old.
Actually, I would like the Sheldon Richardson signing more than I'd like Ndamukong Suh, to be honest.
Yeah. So I agree, man, and that's what I'm saying. And I don't understand what's taking so long. Maybe it's the contract negotiation or something. I don't know, but I don't know why the 49ers are holding out on this situation. I know they've had to take time to see if Kinlaw and Armstead were going to be ready, but I didn't think it was going to take this long because you know, they're in the building with those guys. They should have a rough estimate.
I mean, he's not a sack machine, but he's still, you know, Sheldon Richardson still gets pressures. He would be that guy eating up the offensive lineman that we need, you know, to free up Ebukam and Aminu or who else is on the edge, right?
Yeah, the Kerry Hyder, Drake Jackson, Bosa. Yeah. So have you noticed on pass rushing downs they seem to bring in like Omenihu or Kerry Hyder to pass rush in Ridgeway's spot? Have you noticed that? I didn't. But
so this is something that goes back to last year. Arden Key used to come in, and he would pass rush for DJ Jones. You know, I mean, it really depended on the situation. But our Armstead would be in there, you know, in pass rushing from the inside, and they would bring in Arden Key. This is the last 9 games when we were playing good, you know. They would bring in Arden Key to pass rush from the other interior spot. So, I mean, I don't think when it comes to pass rushing, they're not necessarily looking for a 340-pound man to put out there. You know, that's a run stopper, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. I kept forgetting to say it earlier, but if my Wi-Fi cuts out, I think I figured out a situation that's going to help me out. So we'll see what happens.
Hey, have you heard me talking about Netgear? I don't know what you have right now, but
yeah, I have.
I know a few people that use Netgear. You know, the actual brand Netgear.
Yeah,
and they don't seem to have problems. But I don't know what you have or not.
Yeah, I have CenturyLink, but it's the Wi-Fi extender is the problem. So that's what I'm saying. When the Wi-Fi extender goes out, I'm just going to switch to my regular Wi-Fi. So that's my plan for now. But JW is asking who's available. Like I said a while ago, I haven't been able to check the free agent market because I work full time. But the more I get into it, like I said, I'm just confident in the Chris Kasarik and the 49ers staff and being able to bring in guys off the street and even from other teams, trading for other guys, you know, trading like Solomon Thomas to the Raiders for Ebukam, right? And polishing up guys like that. So I'm confident, regardless of who we bring in, is going to be successful for the 49ers. But it's just, I don't understand what's taking so long. At least bring one guy in.
Remember, Ebukam was a linebacker. And you know, he was a linebacker. When he was playing for the Rams, he was their blitzing linebacker.
Yeah.
So
Like
that's how he
Micah
got
Parsons,
those sacks. You know what I mean?
like a Micah
And
Parsons linebacker.
yep, yeah, exactly. And a lot of people are talking about, like, you know, DeMeco Ryans is more than likely going to get a head coaching job this offseason unless he decides to stay, which I hope he does. But you know, that how can you pass up an opportunity to be a head coach with a good franchise if he ends up, you know, going to the right franchise? But at the same time, you know, everyone's saying, here comes Vic Fango again. And
Fango.
And
Fandango.
Fangio, how I call him Vic Fango. I mean, that's just how I've always pronounced it. I don't know if I'm correct.
The Fandango.com.
Yeah. But when it comes down to it, I'm not opposed to Vic Fango being our defensive coordinator. He's good at it.
Yeah.
And you know, he was running a 3-4 scheme, and right now we're running a 4-3. And I think he'd be fine with either one. You know, I don't see us blowing up our front seven to reset for a new defensive coordinator. I don't see us doing that. But at the same time, Ebukam, you know, Ebukam could be the fourth linebacker / pass rusher that he uses, the hybrid. You know, Ebukam could be that guy.
Yeah.
That is, if another team don't come along and, you know, shovel him some money, which is likely. It's likely, you know. I mean, he's a good athlete, but he's also that prototypical bigger linebacker that Fango used to have back when he was with us. You know, the Patrick Willis, the Navarro Bowman, the Alden Smith. You know, he's that bigger guy. Right now, our linebackers are smaller compared to, you know, if you stand Fred Warner next to Willis, you would see the difference. You know, Fred Warner's still, you know, pretty good sized fella, but Patrick Willis was like 6'3", 250 pounds, and an athletic freak.
Yeah, Fred Warner looks like a safety compared to Patrick Willis.
This is true.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we honestly, I don't think we have the linebackers to switch to a 3-4. You know, we would literally need to retain. I don't know if we're going to retain Al-Shaair. I don't think we are. If he comes back on a team friendly deal, then yes, we will definitely, and I hope we do, because I like the guy. But at the same time, he's had injury issues the last couple of years. Greenlaw missed a lot of last year with an injury issue, but you know, he's back, he's playing good, and we signed him to a halfway team friendly extension. You know, he didn't get the bag, but he got half the bag. Well, let's just say that. But yeah, our linebackers, we're not set up to switch to a 3-4. There's no way. We would have to draft linebackers with both of our compensation 3rd round picks to be able to actually, and hope they both work out to be able to actually do this.
Well, you bring up 2 good points actually that I had thought about before, man, because you know, a lot of people, you know, they were on the Kyle Shanahan trade bandwagon type stuff. And one of the things that worries me about this regime is it doesn't worry me about them. It worries me about losing it, because who's the eye for talent in this staff? Because over and over again, what was that?
Adam Peters.
Just him? No, I don't think. You know, John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan.
But there's a couple guys, but when it comes to our late round draft picks and who actually decides who we get, I give a lot of credit to Adam Peters.
Yeah.
And I mean, he has a couple teams have interviewed him for being GM, and I don't want to see the guy go.
That's what I'm saying.
I think let's pay him some money and be like, bro, you just stay with us. We'll pay you some money. He does not count against the salary cap.
Yeah.
So Let's pay him, give him the bag. Let's keep him around. you know?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So like, okay, maybe this regime, they're not so great with the play calling, but we might, they might be able to continue to have a dynasty just because, we're talking about the contracts, right? Then you talk about losing a guy like D'Amico Ryans, and you bring in Vic Fangio, and personnel might have to change a little bit, right? But with the eye for talent that this regime has, that is something huge to build on, because you got guys that even when your play calling is not so great, great example is Debo's great touchdown against the Rams early in the season, this season, right? So that's two things right there that I love about it is even some of these guys, like you said, Ebicom, who we might have to pay. Even we're going to have to see what's going to happen with Mosley. I'm sure he's going to stay after the injury. Was for that because it was the contract year that he was playing for. Now he's probably going to stay. But, we're probably going to start losing guys. But the confidence I have in this regime to continue to bring in talent, I already talked about it with the D-line. So I love that, man. And like you said, with Vic Fangio as well, if we have to change up personnel and find talent for that scheme, I have confidence in that too. So that I love that, man. I just wanted to talk about it a little bit because it reminded me about that stuff you were talking about. And we have a lot more to talk about too, guys. I'll probably do a show tomorrow because I'm probably going to cut out here soon at like an hour and 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That sound about all right, David? Or maybe like 1:45, an hour and 45 minutes or so.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, I've been holding out for a few days. I took a break, hung out with the family, with my kids and stuff. And I've just been kind of stockpiling stuff. So I have a lot to talk about, guys. So continue to tune in, please, throughout the week. And let's get more people calling in as well, too. That would be great. But, David, do you have anything else that you wanted to touch on off of what I was talking about or anything?
I'm just no, I don't really have much to talk. I think we've covered everything.
Okay. So one thing I noticed actually, because I just saw it in my notes right here and it kind of jumped out to me. I don't know how many of you guys were or you know what? Let me get to Ismo's comment here. Let me get back to the comments real quick. Ismo says Austin Eckler has been tearing it up so far. What are your predictions on how the Niners will handle him Sunday night? Like I said, man, I think the 49ers are going to lean towards zone a lot, as usual. And it actually brings up a good thing about Eckler as well, because he actually talked with Jesse. I don't know what the standings are now, but he was leading by a wide margin. Austin Eckler was in the YAC portion of the NFL. So Austin Eckler leads the NFL in YAC, yards after catch, this year as of last Thursday, and I'm sure still now, right? And that's kind of like a CMC for the Chargers. So you definitely have to keep an eye on him. Like I said, the 49ers play a lot of zone. Definitely going to have to throw some press in there, but going to have to spy on this guy. You don't really see bracketing running backs, so that kind of goes out the window. But I'm confident this defense is going to be able to stop him and Justin Herbert. You got any thoughts on that, David?
Wonder what the heck's going on there. So you're talking about stopping Austin Eckler?
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, we might have some issues there because without having Armstead in the middle, it's gonna be Ridgeway, Givens, and I don't even know what is that guy's name? Spence.
Hakeem Spence.
Trying to clog the middle and keep our linebackers free. But that's the key. If those guys can keep our linebackers free, then Austin Eckler ain't gonna be going off on us. Yeah. But look at what happened in Atlanta. that team ran all over us. And I was like, I was watching that game going, what is wrong? You know? So
that's why I'm so surprised they haven't brought any defensive tackles in yet. I don't understand. I forget how many times the Falcons passed, but Mariota, was it 7 passes? It was a very low number. But Mariota definitely extended some of those plays with his legs. Anyways, so check it out, guys. The ultimate Yak Bros. Talking about it a little bit with the wide receivers. We got Brandon Ayuk, CMC, and speaking of CMC, speaking of Austin Eckler, I think CMC was number 2 in Yak, and Debo was number 8, I believe. So we got 2 guys in the top 10 as far as yards after catch for the 49ers. So that's pretty awesome.
Man. Sorry, I'm dealing with something there.
Uh-oh.
Anyway.
Good thing I got that backup now. But yeah. Ayuk and Debo, man. Ayuk is super underrated as a Yak bro. I feel he's always been a Yak bro. We saw it in 2020. 2020. Against the Eagles, leaps over the defender, stuff like that. We've seen him last year, even in games with Trey Lance bouncing off defenders and running for another 20, 30 yards. So super underrated aspect of his game, man. And I love that Ayuk and Debo are like, they attack 2 different levels of the field, I feel like, right? I think most people would agree with me. Ayuk is more of the over-the-top guy. Debo's like underneath and hope that he breaks 20 tackles and runs in for a touchdown. But I love that they attack 2 different levels of the defense. They're a great 1-2 punch. I want to see what's going to happen with Ayuk in the contract. I don't know if he's going to sign it this year or bet on himself, hold out another year to sign the contract like Bosa did, because on that rookie contract, Ayuk is actually going to have we're going to have him for at least another year or 2. Well, 2 years, right? Because we drafted him after the 2019 season. So 5 years after that on the rookie contract. But yeah, man, I love it. I hope we need to see him in jet sweeps. Jet sweeps and end arounds, all that type of stuff. We saw it at the beginning of the season. They went away from it. They were having great success with it. I don't understand why they went away from it. But yeah, we need to start seeing that too, man. That could definitely help out the offense. Kevin King, cornerback, is also available. High risk, high reward. Sounds
jet sweeps, in arounds. I don't know. I don't know if we don't really need to sign a corner because we have Verrett,
but we don't know yet.
The guy is 32 years old, but as long as he's confident in his leg and he, can stay healthy, which has been his issue his whole career, then I honestly think that we're going to be solid at corner. I am very disappointed in Ambry Thomas, though. I mean, another 3rd round pick. It's like, what is up with that? You had the 3rd round. I mean, what is up with the 3rd round? So we have Trey Sermon, Ambry Thomas, Ahkello Witherspoon, just to name a few 3rd rounders. Fred Warner was a 3rd round pick, so that was a good one.
Yeah.
But I mean, 3rd round picks are supposed to be at least solid NFL players, and here we are. We actually traded up to get Trey Sermon and, ended up cutting him, right?
Yeah, ended up cutting him. He goes to the damn Eagles. But, speaking of Fred Warner, it reminded me of something, man, because a lot of people I've heard talk about trying to trade Fred Warner, and because of his contract and all that. And I'm like, I've said it over and over again. The best ability is availability, man. And even though he's not the most explosive guy when it comes to all the hits and interceptions and all that type of stuff, he's always there for us, man. He's a very big leader on this defense, and he's only missed one game out of 3 years. Out of the last 3 seasons, I think Fred Warner's only missed one game. So, I mean, it's more. I don't think that's really a debate. I think it's just who you're going to keep out of Greenlaw and Al-Shaair, and they already extended Greenlaw, so Al-Shaair might be playing for another team next year. He might be auditioning for another team once he comes back, most likely this week, from the sound of it. David?
Dude, when it comes to Al-Shaair, I think we need to I don't see a point in rushing him back. I mean, we have Flanagan fouls. We play a lot of nickel. There's no point in rushing the guy back. Give him a couple more weeks. You know, they opened his practice window, so that means they have until – who do we play after the Chargers? Is it the Cardinals? Do we play the Red Chicken?
Yeah, Monday Night Football.
Wow, they might just flex that game to Sunday. But just because of the Cardinals, not the Niners. I'm not dogging us.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't necessarily even wouldn't push him to play this week if we don't have to. You know?
I think he's definitely well, I saw the interview with him. He's definitely pushing for himself to play. And like I said, they extended Greenlaw. So I think Al-Shaair is going to be playing. He's auditioning for another team, so he wants to be out there as soon as possible. So if he's rushing himself back, he's only hurting himself, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look,
for the future.
Kelly's asking about Ambry Thomas. So what I think's going on is he's a year down on football. You know, his senior season, I don't know if he opted out or if his team just said we're not playing because of the pandemic, you know. But either way, he did not play his senior season. So here he is, you know, last year was he missed the whole season before, not injured, but missed the whole season before. So here he is last year. We gave him some reps, and I honestly thought he was playing pretty good towards the end, right?
Exactly.
So here we are this year. You know, we have Mosley, we have Mooney Ward. We don't really have a need to give him reps. And then I think that's what the kid needs. I think he needs playing time. And with the corners we have, I mean, where he's not going to see the playing time that he needs to develop.
Well, I think lucky for him, he has been getting playing time. I think what happened was he had the success towards the end of the season last year, like you're talking about. I think he got complacent and just let himself go, man. And because this problem ties into all of offseason and the training camp, all the reporters, all the journalists were all saying that Ambry Thomas is the guy getting torched, play in and play out, right? Big plays were all Ambry Thomas. So, that happens, you know, in preparation. So what you were doing during the offseason, which apparently he probably wasn't doing, got complacent, like I said. So I don't think there's really any hope for him this year, outside of what he's been seeing recently, where corners go down, and so the 49ers need somebody to be a place filler a little bit here and there. So a rotational piece as backup. But outside of that, I don't think there's any hope for Ambry this year. I think hopefully he takes into consideration what's happened this year and bust his ass this coming off season for next year. And then we can see him back to his form that he was getting to last year. But back to what John Reed said about Kevin King, you know, I'm for it. It just depends on the price. And like I said, we'll see this week if Verrett plays, and if he balls out, I love it. And hopefully that pans out for the 49ers, especially heading into the postseason. I just want to see him stay healthy. Even if he's only at 75%, 75% should be really good. So if the 49ers bring somebody in, like a veteran guy, that'd be great, but for the right price as well. Damian Lee says, Rams have just waived 2 players they trying to get money for OBJ. I wouldn't doubt it, man. Those guys are ridiculous. Just give it up already. But let me know if you guys got any more questions. We're going to cut out the show here. I still got plenty of more topics. We'll probably save that till tomorrow or Thursday, depending on because I don't like to intercede too much with everybody else's streaming. And I like to watch 49ers After Dark on Wednesdays. Just by coincidence today, me, Jason Aponte, Steph Sanchez were all streaming at the same time. So that was unfortunate, but I already had it scheduled. I couldn't push it back. But tomorrow, hopefully we'll be back on. Oh, man, that Eckler take was discouraging, but let's go. Hey, it is, man, but you know what? It's a different, he's got all that yak, but it's not like the 49ers where you got a guy like CMC who's around the number 2 spot for yak, right? But he's surrounded by all these other weapons and a pretty good quarterback, right? As well as a run game, a good coordinator, all that stuff. So I think it should encourage you more that the 49ers have that to hit back with, right? Team Kelly says it would be idiotic to get OBJ with 2 major injuries to the same knee, to the same tendon, right? That's exactly what I'm saying. An expert doctor has talked about it already. So probably not going to be the same OBJ we've seen from years past. We need to bring back drafting. We need to bring back drafting to bring on competition and not friendships. Drafting. The Niners have a lot of friends, especially after they got the bag, right? No, yeah, completely, man. I understand that. And that's why I love this regime, man, because even the players, even when they get paid, they are still capital, right? You can still use them for business transactions. Like we were talking about some people wanting to trade Fred Warner. He's still an asset. He has been paid. He's under contract, all that stuff. We can still trade him, right? Definitely depends with certain players. There are no trade clause in the contract. But at the end of the day, they're assets. We can acquire more draft capital. And this regime has showed that over and over again, they can draft great talent as long as they have the capital for it. Feel free to stop me at any time, David, if you want to chime in on anything.
Keep going.
Or if you want to tap out, it's up to you because I'm going to shut it off right now anyways.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, here we go against the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think we got this game, but you can never overlook any NFL team, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, go Niners.
Is David asleep, Sisting?
I am virtually.
Hey, you know what, David? I appreciate you. I'll let you go right now, but I appreciate you coming in. You and Brian, man. Love you guys. It's always great having you guys, man. Thanks for throwing in your perspective. And like I said, maybe I'll be back tomorrow with the show. I'm going to try and line it all up. If not, then Thursday for sure. But yeah, David, thank you. I'll let you go right now, and then I'll answer one more comment and tap out myself. David.
All right, buddy. What we got?
All right, brother.
Well,
take care, man.
You said you'd answer one more comment. What we got?
Okay, let's see. Team Kelly says, the good thing about JV, Jason Verrett, coming back is he'll be playing on real grass until the Seattle game. See, that's the thing. The 49ers have a stretch of home games. We have a lot of home games coming into the second stretch of the season, right? So that's the great thing, man. Want to see Verrett more than anything stay healthy because his veteran savvy should be able to help him in the mental aspect of the game to overcome the athleticism that he shouldn't be using just yet. Get his feet under him first. You got anything to say on that, David?
When it comes to Jason Verrett, he's playing against backup wide receivers, so it's a perfect game for him to come back, right?
No, definitely. And like Team Cali said, grass. That's one of the more important things, man, because we get so many injuries when it comes to playing opposing teams on turf. So that's very worrisome when we play on turf. If it's on grass, that's confidence. But we're going to have to see how it plays out in the rain. Guys, Ismo says, new subscriber. Looking forward to the next chat. Hey, Ismo, I appreciate it very much, man. And yeah, like I said, I got plenty more content to talk about. I don't want to drag it on too long. We're at 1 hour and 50 minutes. Really appreciate everybody that's been here. Please like and subscribe before you leave. Turn on the bell notification for all notifications right next to the subscription tab. And yeah, just thank you guys again. David, thank you very much for all the input, bro. Always great having you, man. All right, everybody.
It's always great to be here. Go 49ers.
Yeah, go Niners. Take care, guys.